Okay, what are we doing?
We're making Rebbe. I'll show you.
You show me how to make Rebbe water. This is amazing. Okay, let's go.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, over here.
So we're learning how to make Rebbe water. So what is Rebbe water?
This is Rebbe water.
Where's it from?
Rebbe water. Originally, the Rebbe used to go to the women's mikvah a couple times a week.
Privately.
And it was known that women would go to the mikvah after the Rebbe went in if they couldn't have children. I actually met somebody. It was in 2012 in Rehovot for a while. So I was in a small Chabad house, and the rabbi wanted me to talk about Rebbe water. That time my Hebrew wasn't that good. It's not that good now, but it's much better. So a guy sitting across me, guy Yehuda Panir, said, I have a story from the Rebbe's mikvah I've never told anybody. And he used to work for Allah, so they went back and forth a lot. And once his wife had to go to mikvah, it happened to be the day when the Rebbe went in, and she was the first one going in.
So just to explain, the Rebbe would go to a woman's mikvah.
The Rebbe would go to the women's mikvah in Crown Heights.
Right. But there were no women there.
There were no.
The Rebbe would use it early in the day.
The Rebbe would use it early in the day, and it was very clean. They were totally filtered. I mean, there wasn't any problem with maybe a few chemicals, but no problem with, it was no problem with anything.
Right, just to clarify. Okay, yeah.
Okay, just to clarify. And it was known that it was a known thing that women could go right away after the Rebbe the first time at night. They would have children if they did. So this story told me, he said his wife was 45, she couldn't have any more children. The doctor said impossible. She happened to be going to the mikvah. And the first one, the mikvah lady told her this, said, you're so lucky, there's a big bracha found for children. So she prayed for her brother and herself, and she had another child. So I asked people in yeshiva that time, I was in Ramat Aviv in Israel, they knew the son.
Wow.
So I came across it in 1996, and my neighbor had leukemia. And then he had baritone went bad, and was going every day as a young, beautiful Persian couple. Not that religious, but they go every day to the hospital, took him 2 hours a day. And so I gave him the water, and I told him to do more turn this. So slowly he got better. I gave to another person who had leukemia was during COVID, and I was So it
has miraculous properties.
It miraculous properties.
So how did you from the Rebbe's? How did you get the water from the Rebbe's mikvah that was last used by the Rebbe in probably the 90s today, in 2024?
Yes, 1988. 1988. There was a chassid who passed away about a year ago, Yisrael Alperin. He was the head shliach, the head rabbi, Herzliya Chabad rabbi, and he didn't have any children. So he wanted to go in the mikvah, but they wouldn't let him go in. I've heard different stories. But finally, he got some water from the mikvah after the Rebbe went in, and he went and he took it home, and it stood in his cabinet for 7 years, from 1995.
Okay.
And somebody from his congregation came, and they had a relative was very sick, extremely sick, seriously bad shape, very sick. And he came to the rabbi and said, Rabbi, give me something from the Rebbe. I need something from the Rebbe. My relative is very sick. I need help. Please give me something from the Rebbe. So by us, we open up the Rebbe's holy letters and ask for bracha. That's what a lot of people do.
We can make another video on that. Okay,
So he did that. He kept on pushing and pushing him. So he remembered he had this bottle of water sitting there for 7 years.
Wow.
So he gave some a little bit. The guy comes back 2 days later, says like a miracle, like my relative never got sick in the first place. It was like an open miracle. And then after that, people had a stomach ache. In Israel, many people, doctors recommended I give it to my mother-in-law. She was 88 now, 87. She's confined to a chair mostly. Last year, Rosh Hashanah, I came here. I live in Tzfat, but I come here a lot. Last year in Rosh Hashanah, I came here and I found out she had that disease and been contracted 4 months earlier. So I made sure that the people helping her gave her the water. She goes 5-6 days later, the doctor disappeared.
Wow. Okay, so show us how you make the Rebbe water. So how did it get from 1988 to 2024? We're having Rebbe water.
People kept on making more.
So how do you make more?
This is
not the actual chlorinated water the Rebbe titled it, right?
No, this is actual water from the sink.
Okay, so how's the Rebbe water?
With the filtered from the sink. So how is it Rebbe water? I'm showing you. So this is the holy water.
Okay.
Now we already
the
have
holy waters, yeah.
We already have something like this by the Rebbe's holy wine.
Kosher bracha.
Kosher bracha that was accepted by the Chassidim, that you add to it slowly, it all becomes holy. And there are a lot of miracles with it.
Okay.
So the thing, I know for sure this works because I see miracles.
Okay.
So that's the main thing. It does.
Okay, show us how to make it. So you dilute it.
I not dilute it. I don't call it diluting. You add to it.
You add water. Yeah, that's what I mean.
You don't dilute it. So every time you add, you can either this is regular water.
Okay.
Every time you add less than half. Yeah, so just a few drops at a time.
And that's how you multiply.
And every time it has to be less than 50%.
Right, so it's batal berev.
So I did like this. Usually I'll use it with the cup and measure the cup. But I did like this. And just recently I did this to somebody. I gave him the cup to drink. And like 2 days later, he says, the first thing he's called out, a really nice guy. He says, I thought I needed knee surgery, replacement surgery. I drank the water and went away.
Okay, so let me try some. Make a bracha.
Oh,
you're going to try it? Amen.
Now the importance of this is actually this week. There's a sikh in Dvar Malchus where it really talks about the miracles that are happening. And he says over there that even though that a lot of people that say I'm not into miracles, I daven, I do this, Rebbe says it's the most important thing because we see that by giving thanks to God for the great miracles He's given us, this brings the Gula Shlema, like he says, brings down in there by Sencher when Israel was surrounded, and it was totally surrounded, and the big army Sencher was going to destroy us. There was a big miracle and everybody died.
Wow.
And